Hey y'all, this is Marie from our Okie Homestead. There's been so many changes out here in the garden. It's only been 3 weeks, I guess, since that last garden video was filmed. Maybe not quite that long. And so much has changed in the garden in that amount of time, especially with the rain that we've been getting. And plus I come out and water on the days we don't get rain. And so they've really just started going to town, just really doing really well at this point. So I'm hoping to get a better harvest this year than we did last year for sure. I tell you what, it is hot out here already. It's probably 9 something in the morning now. It's already that's a nice breeze that we get once in a while though. Tell you, thinking we'll be in the pool later. Zinnias are doing good. And the romaine lettuce right there, I need to cut the top off of it so it don't go to flower. The zucchini plants have changed a lot since the last garden video. They're now starting to get the big blossoms on them. So hopefully we'll be getting us some zucchini pretty soon. There's a big old blossom. A bunch of little blossoms down in there. Same with the other plant. More zinnias. And the basil. It's already starting to try to go to flower. I picked the top off of one part of it. See right here. Let me pick that off. You're supposed to pick it and make it more bushy anyway, but I didn't. I just don't want it to go to flower. So, there's the basil. Love that smell. The bell pepper plants are doing really good. And there's romaine lettuce hidden in that tomato plant too. I was hoping it would do pretty good being in more shade. And a marigold. That's some of those Volunteer Roma tomatoes. And they're starting to get the blossoms on them. See right there? Another bell pepper plant, and a marigold. And the tomato plants have got tomatoes on them. I've been having to pick some off because they're getting bit by something. So the chickens are getting to enjoy the green tomatoes at times. I got to finish picking my green beans because it's time. Good size. That one's not. There's a lot of good size ones in there. And I'm debating on what to do with this bed when I pull them all out. Because I'll have most of this bed. The only thing that'll be in it then will be the 2 tomato plants. It'll be too late to plant anything else besides maybe a squash plant in there and maybe get some squash later on. Squash and zucchini are 2 of the most fastest things to germinate. They grow real fast. Within about 70 days or so, you'll start getting some harvest off of them if everything goes well. I have seen a couple squash bugs, but that's when the zucchini plants were real little. I've been being real diligent about keeping an eye on them. Not seeing any more, no signs of them or anything. As late as I planted them, I'm kind of hoping maybe the squash bugs have moved on, but we'll see. But these green beans, I think when I pull them, I'll probably just put a squash plant in there. Hopefully this week. I mean, it's already almost July. So that'd give me the month of July and August, and then be getting maybe some harvest in September off of them. Which would be nice to get some that late in the year, but I have to keep it alive during the heat of the summer. That's the hard part around here. But I'm going to turn this back around. More of my indeterminate tomato plants. I've been pruning on them some more, getting them tied up better. So yeah, I've got lots of tomatoes fixing to come on, which is good. I've been waiting. I had to show y'all my volunteer zinnias over here. They're so pretty. Strawberries are just covered up with grass. I was weed whacking on some of it to see. Yeah, I still see them in there. I might be able to save them, I don't know, but that grass is terrible. That's why I have such a fit when I see one little piece that's rooted in the bed, because it takes over so fast. It's crazy. Here's my other volunteer Romas that I transplanted. They're really bushing up and getting blooms on them. Now I've got this wide space here in this bed that I can plant something else in. And I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I wanted this bed and this other front bed to be my winter beds, but I'm seriously, my irises need to be divided again. And so I'm thinking about just planting them all in this bed. I can plant them in here and just leave them until after they bloom next spring. I can plant around them, I think. I don't know. That's yet to be determined. It's already getting so hot out here, y'all. I think this is another day of a heat advisory. It's by 10 this morning, real feel was already supposed to feel like 95, even though it's like in the 80s. It's not too bad when there's a breeze. We're just not getting much of one right now. So I'll probably be in the pool later. I need to get started on cutting down that big limb that's in our parking spot next to my truck. So not looking forward to that. Turn this back around. My blueberries are about done. There's a couple berries still on the very top of a couple of the bushes. What we didn't get, the chickens have basically picked them clean. The okra is growing pretty good. Really, 3 okra in this container is probably, see, there's grass. That stuff, it just takes over so fast. I probably need to cut one of those out of there and just maybe leave 2 in there, or maybe cut 2 and leave 1. I don't really need a whole lot of okra. Don't really need any. I still got plenty in the freezer that I need to cook. But they're getting eat up so bad by something that I kind of hate to kill 1 or 2. And then if the bugs take over eating on just the one plant, they could finish it off and I wouldn't have any. So that's kind of maybe I should just leave all 3 in there and see what it can do. Anyway, I'm thinking about planting some flowers there since I have them sitting here in the front. The portulaca, my cantaloupes are really starting to come along. It's loaded with blossoms in there. More zinnias in a little pot outside the gate. I think I'm going to let this one trail off across here. And then I'll train the other ones to go up this trellis. More tomatoes. Tomatoes. And more blossoms. I went ahead and fed everything yesterday evening. And I've just watered it all in this morning, basically. I've been working on getting soaker hoses in my beds. And then we're going to connect the 4 beds so that I can just plug it in one end and water all 4 beds at one time. And then I'll just leave this one separate and then water it separate, because it takes about 30 minutes for these soaker hoses to really soak them good. So that's an hour. I was spending on average almost 45 minutes to an hour out here every morning during the heat of summer trying to water plants. And last year, oldest daughter took over, and she worked so much that she didn't have a chance to really do it every day. So we didn't get much harvest out of the garden last year with the drought. And then I couldn't get out here and water after I had heat stroke. And so I'm trying to remedy that situation where I can just come out, plug up, wait 30 minutes, come out, switch it to the other. I'm hoping them soaker hoses will be a real time saver. But you got to I had to watch how I laid them in there. Otherwise they'd kink up if I made too sharp of a turn. But it pretty well covers most of the bed. Now this bed also sitting empty, nothing in it. The onions were all right here. And so once again, a squash plant's the only thing I know that I could put in there that would grow fast enough for us to get a harvest off of it this year. The volunteer Romas. Well, once they got transplanted into bed and they had a chance to take off, they're really doing good. I may try that again this year. Leave some of the tomatoes just laying in the bed. And then when they start coming up next year, I can transplant them again like I did this year. Because that's pretty nice. Free plants. I get volunteers all the time. The passion flower over there is a volunteer. The lettuce is a volunteer. I've got a volunteer sunflower over by where we park. Just all kinds of volunteer stuff pops up. You just don't ever know. But the flowers are sure starting to look pretty. I love this color. I think those are just so pretty. This was a piece that I pruned off of one of the other indeterminate tomatoes. It looked like it was about ready to die, but now it looks like it's possibly got some new growth on it. So hopefully it has taken root and will do a good job. So we'll see. Just keeping an eye on it. Whew. Got the hose all wrapped up. I'm calling it a day in the garden until later, maybe this evening when it cools off some. It's just too hot out there right now in the sun, and we're having a lot of heat advisories starting all over the south. So everybody out there that's working outside, y'all stay hydrated. Talk to y'all later. Bye.